saw a reduction in imports and increase in exports.
Yeah.
Now, is this sustainable? That is the big question. A lot of analysts and the journalists and the media community pay attention is to the merchandise trade, right? And exports minus imports, right? That's what people pay attention to. Imports always exceed exports. But what they're not taking into account is tourism and services and remittances. That's called the service account. If you look at the recovery of services between 2021, 2022, in the COVID year, and tourism jumped. It jumped from 97 million in 21-22 to $1.635 billion, right? Year over year. So therefore, that's services. That's where you find tourism, right? So you see exports and imports, right? And exports, imports are always higher than exports. But where Jamaica makes its money is it's on the services in tourism, right? And then also in the secondary income, this is where you find remittances. So what is not included in that merchandise trade, the numbers, where you just look at exports and imports, is services and the secondary income where you find remittances. For the first time in decades, we have run what we call the current account balance, a positive current account balance, right, of 352.4 million, driven by recovery in tourism and travel in the services. And also we had remittances of in the secondary account of 2.6 billion, somewhere around that number is made up of remittances, right, inside of this number. So therefore, when you take all this into account, that means Jamaica is in receipt of more US dollars than we're spending in US dollars for the year 2022-23, right? And that continued into the quarter. We had a current account balance of 241 million US dollars, right? Remittance in the secondary income where you find remittances is 65.4 million. We saw a reduction in imports and increase in exports.
Yeah.
Now, is this sustainable? That is the big question. If remittances stay around these same levels, if tourism inflows and travel-related flows continue to increase, and if exports, particularly in the manufacturing sector, continue to increase, then it's sustainable. The Bank of Jamaica is actually projecting for maybe a small deficit. But if we continue to overperform in tourism, if we continue to overperform in relationship to exports, then it could be sustainable. So if we pay attention to this going forward as a country, and we know the government of Jamaica has a big export drive on, then we could see Jamaica being a net lender to the world, on a sustained basis.